Man, welcome to the final whistle again with Matt Caddell, the one and only Chris James, and the final whistle, Dan. Dan, you got that cool water sprayed over there?
Oh, yeah, man. The car.
That's the guy.
The juke.
The juke. Speaking of juke, you know, we got it smelling good, and we're on the Bama standard with the one and only Justin Riley. Justin, how you doing today?
Man, I'm doing good, man. Exciting week, ready to unpack all of it. You know, off season is supposed to be a time where things slow down and we have nothing to talk about, but we got a ton to talk about.
A lot to talk about, especially Coach Saban doing the wave. I'm like, who is this guy? Like,
hey, he's coming out of his shell in his later years, you know.
Yeah, I like it. I think it's a good move. So, what do y'all want?
But folks in the audience, real quick, I want to remind everybody, hit that like button right now. If you're in the live chat, show us some love. Create controversy, create chaos. If you're watching the replay, like I know a lot of you people like to do, get in the comment section. It's very important. We're brought to you by Workspace Solutions and Altmont Financial Partners. Hey, bit of news right off the top of the page. WWE legendary announcer Jim Ross has announced to the Bama Nation, Eli Gold will be returning to the booth next season.
Yes, sir.
That's so. I'm sorry.
That is huge. Yes. No slide to Chris Stewart. Hey. Chris Stewart's the man.
I mean, I like
that's the mojo we were missing, man. That's the mojo we were missing.
Yeah, it doesn't like Eli Gold, man.
Eli on the call.
Alabama football, like just watching the replay, like to me, Gary Danielson and they make me so mad during football games. I have to mute them and put in my headphones and listen to Eli Gold because I can't do a Gary Danielson hate on Alabama. But that's great news. I'm glad he's doing better health-wise. You know, a lot of Bama fans were concerned, praying about him. So that's great news. I'm excited.
Yeah.
But no slide to Chris Stewart. He's done an amazing job. But listen, nobody can call a basketball game better than Chris. I mean, that's his realm. And I feel like Chris, though, eventually will be the taker over, if that's even a word, of Eli's duties once Eli decides to retire. You know, hopefully that's not anytime soon, though. But
we're going to be joining, bro.
Glad to have that back. Yeah, Matt, I was thinking the same thing earlier this year. The things just aren't flowing or clicking because Eli's not on the mic. You know, this touchdown, Alabama.
Touchdown, Alabama. Derrick Henry, 53 yards.
10, 20, touchdown, Alabama. He gets so excited, man. It's the best.
Chris, can you recall the game where you had that punt block against Mississippi State as Eli real quick for us?
Oh, man.
Chris, he's been working names. Well, we're going
to score. 20, the 10, the 5, touchdown, Alabama. Rose block by number 32, Chris James. The junior from Auburn, Georgia.
Sound like you're in a high school stadium.
Hey, look. Now the score is Ole Miss 55, Alabama 12. Whoa. I don't know where that's coming from.
It was Dan. I blame Dan for that.
That was final whistle. Dan with that whistle.
Now, just a reminder, folks: do not join a stream with Boost Mobile.
It may be me.
I know what it was. It's that spy balloon flying over Dan's house. That's what it is. That's why we're getting all the interference.
Dan, can you hear us now?
Yes, I can hear you.
Okay.
Dan was,
all right.
Money on
I feel like he was calling in on a CB radio for a minute there. Sorry about that, folks.
I was double logged in. Excuse me, it's my fault.
Yes, he was dual logged in. I think we got it figured out. I apologize for the
trying to read comments.
All right. Well, listen, let's go ahead and start jumping into things. Let's unpack some stuff. Hey, shout out to AJ McCarron, 2 weeks in a row, XFL, clearly the star of the league. 2 back-to-back come from behind victories. Man, excited for what AJ's doing for that league and the opportunity he's getting. But hey, listen, it's basketball time. Tomorrow night, we are looking at a very pivotal game in terms of the regular season SEC title. And a huge shout out, praise to Mississippi State for doing that thing the other day and taking down Texas A&M. All we have to do, guys, is take down Auburn in the Iron Bowl of basketball. Simple, isn't it? It's a rivalry game. Things get kind of crazy.
Do this.
It starts tomorrow.
Hey, man, let me tell you something, man. I talk a lot of noise.
Chris got on that orange shirt. I don't know.
No.
I think you need to take that off, man.
I'm gonna show, look. You want me to show you? I already started tearing it up. Look. You see?
Okay.
See? Yeah, boy. I'm gonna rip it. I'm gonna rip out of it like Macho Man.
It looked like you were trying to get away from a dog or something.
Hey, but check this out though, man. Tomorrow night, I know I talk a lot of noise, but tomorrow night, man, Coleman is gonna be the loudest it's been in 20 years. And because they already have to present to us the halftime, the trophy, whatever the sportsmanship trophy at halftime for beating them in the Iron Bowl. Mm-hmm. But on top of that, be able to cut down the nets after what they did on our court last year when they beat us, Bruce Pearl mocking the crane.
Yeah.
Oh man, to beat them and them having to watch us cut down the nets. You know Nate Oats is gonna be fired up. Have that team fired up, man. They'll come out probably one of those 16-4 early runs, 16-2 runs where they just coming out shooting three.
No reason to come out flat tomorrow. No,
man, they're gonna come out on fire, man. I'm telling you, it's gonna be on, man.
And that's one of the concerns I have as of late. We seem to be playing really flat. We kind of hit a lull.
They're waiting for the tournament, man.
And listen, I will say we've had some major off the court distraction. We will not go into it. We're going to stay neutral here on this platform. But, there's already enough pressure as it is playing Division I sports. But to have that additional rock thrown on their shoulders or boulder thrown on their shoulders, as it were, it's tough to see past that. But now this is a time where we really got to start heating things up. We need to recapture that mojo we had the first part of the season. So I'm asking you, is this a time where that returns, or is it something to be concerned about right now?
But
you go first, Chris. Or you want me to go?
I would say, but think about it, man. Y'all have to think. The guy that you would think that would be affected by this is the one that's playing the best ball right now.
Yeah, that's true.
It's like he's the one telling them to wake y'all tail. You see him on the sideline fussing and yelling. I believe it's just that point of the year, man. Like, I think you'll see newfound energy these next two games. It's just like it's that point of, like football season, Matt. You 8-0, kind of dragging, and it's like, okay, you got a 3-5 Vanderbilt coming up, and after Vanderbilt, you got a 4-4 South Carolina coming up. So it's kind of like it can kind of get it's hard to be on that level every week until you get to a single elimination, until it gets to do or die or time to clinch a champ. You get what I'm saying? Yes. So it's hard, especially on the college level, even pros. I mean, you see the NBA one night, you may see Toronto go to Atlanta and blow out the Hawks on the road, but then they go home and lose to OKC. Stuff the next night. It's just, it happens, man. It's hard in basketball to play. That's why you haven't seen an undefeated college team since when? When's the last?
Bobby Knight, I believe.
Yeah, Bobby Knight, Indiana, I think back, in 88, 89, somewhere around there. I need my fact checkers to get that answer for me.
But even that Kentucky team, the almighty Kentucky team with the Harrison twins, they fell flat in the Final Four against Wisconsin. So, I mean, it's just impossible to be on that every single game while at the same time you're getting everybody's best shot. So you got to think about it, man. We got Tennessee best shot at home. They played football while we were playing basketball. They were tackling us.
No, they were doing boxing. It was MMA.
It was an MMA.
No, that was more like King of the Ring.
I did not know that.
And then everybody we played after that, man, you got Arkansas. Everybody, we're getting everybody's best shot now. So that's going to pay off for dividends for us because while other teams are getting it in the tournament, we've been getting it pretty much all season. Mm-hmm. So, like, even if you fall flat to your B minus game, you still getting this other team's A game. So it may seem like you may be flat, but it's just that they're on such a high that it kind of overshadows the level you're playing on.
I agree. Yeah. And you talking about pressure, and, looking at these guys, you said we played, Justin, to your point, come out a little flat on some of the games. Mm-hmm. We haven't been dominant, but I think these guys are motivated. I mean, you look at a Nate Oats, the way he likes to lead his team, keep the main thing. I think these guys kind of got a little chip on their shoulder with all this whole, mm-hmm. You mentioned earlier, Brandon Miller stuff in the media. I think, as you said, Miller's on the brand. I mean, he scored, 46 one night?
41 and 20.
41 versus, and then come back versus
But still didn't get player of the week.
Yeah, so that's really going to tick him off. That's why I think you really going to.
And it's his award. It should be called the Brandon Miller SEC Player of the Week award, but they gave it to Nick Smith, who Brandon Miller dominated, I would say to speak, who's another top, 7-8 pick against Nick Smith Jr. So I think these guys, to my point, I think they're here they think they got a chip on their shoulder, and I think this is kind of going to play off in the long run for them to kind of have, really have to go out there and prove themselves even more, just because of all the stuff that's going on off the field. I mean, off the court with the whole Brandon Miller situation. I think it's going to be motivation. Maybe they kind of go in a villain role. I just think that chip on their shoulder gets enhanced, enlarged, going on the road, all the media. I think those guys, at the end of the day, they're going to want to dominate on the court. So,
But yeah. A quick interjection. Ole Miss has jumped out on Texas A&M tonight. It's like 12-4. I know that doesn't mean anything, but they're on the road at Ole Miss. Ole Miss tonight. If A&M goes down tonight, Alabama, no matter what.
And Ole Miss still out. Don't steal our thunder.
Right.
Well, hey, but
he can slow it up. Hey, beat Texas A&M. I'm all for it.
Tomorrow night, just play loose. Throw alley loose on half court.
Very important thing you just pointed out there. Ole Miss is a team right now with nothing to lose. They just fired their coach. They got nothing to play for. Yeah, he's gone.
Wow.
Yeah, canned him. He's out the door. So this Ole Miss team can be a problem. If they can take down Texas A&M, yeah, like you said, guys, even more breathing room. We're not going to play uptight. But, yeah, very important that we come out in the court dominating from the jump. As soon as that buzzer blows, we need to take control. The game already needs to be won in our eyes. That's the way I see it. And the biggest thing I think Alabama right now is that we have got to eliminate the self-inflicted wounds. Stop doing things to beat ourselves. Right. Turnovers, stop it. Stop it. Because that's an Achilles heel for us. We've got to get rid of all that.
Yeah, we don't take bad shots. It's turnovers. Yeah. Like we don't have selfish players. Like they move the ball around. But
very good.
On the guard, the lead guard. Did y'all notice how quickly Nate Oats snatched Bradley out of the game and didn't play him for the rest of the game until a minute to go? Early in the half, and he put Quinlan in. That's why Quinlan played the whole game. He snatched Bradley out against Arkansas, and Bradley didn't play the rest of the first half, nor did he start the second half.
Oh wow!
He didn't play again until with like 1 minute to go left in the game. Oats isn't playing, man. He doesn't.
That's what I love about
him. Game coach. That's what I love about him.
Me too.
Yeah. One thing I want to mention is the boost that Nick Pringle has given us the last couple of weeks.
Yes,
that's been huge. The energy that he's bringing, we needed that down the stretch. It was a great find in our rotation.
Number one, you go play in America, man. It's only a matter of time.
Yeah, and that's a big thing right now as far as going into the tournament is finding that other guy, that person not named Brandon Miller, not named Sears, who's going to come up and rise to the occasion and be that tournament hero, that guy who's just going to take over and take that burden off of some of the other guys. Come tournament time, you need those other guys to show up. Is it going to be Pringle? I think it can be. I was talking to Rod Grazar before we got on here, and for the old heads like us, that guy was the Brandon Miller of our generation, and just phenomenal athlete. YouTube him, but he likes Noah Clowney. He feels like this is a time where he's going to take over. He's versatile. He can do so much on all ends of the court. You don't want him to ball too much because he wants him to return next season. But listen, I'd rather fear him going to the NBA early, or risk him going to the NBA early in favor of not only an SEC title but a national title.
But like, for example, Bradley only played 7 minutes on Saturday. He was 0 for 3. Pringle he only played 7 minutes, but he was 7 points, 4 rebounds, 7 minutes of play. 3 for 3, 7 points, 4 rebounds, and 7 minutes of action. Quinley had 28 minutes with 16 points. Mark Sears had 34 minutes, led the way with 34 minutes. No, Brandon Miller played 38 minutes. So it's imperative we go ahead and get Auburn off the floor early so he can get his rest.
Yeah.
He had 24 points. Sears with 13 points at 34 minutes, and then Clowney played 30 minutes with 10 points and 13 rebounds. Clowney had a double-double. So it's imperative, man, we go ahead and get out on Auburn because the SEC tournament, you know what I'm saying? We got 2 tough games. So from here on out, man, it's pretty much like tournament action.
Yeah.
Like, it's no more. Because once you get to Friday in the SEC tournament, because we have a bye to Friday. So once you get to Friday in the SEC tournament, you playing them dogs that's left.
Yeah.
You're not playing.
Let me look up the SEC tournament. Yeah,
because we're going to have the 1 seed. So at the bottom is going to be Tennessee and A&M. So we don't have to face both of them. It'll be either one of those, whoever comes out of that. And likely it'll be Kentucky. We'll probably have to play on Saturday. Big Blue Nation.
And that's the thing that people need to understand, that regardless of how Kentucky looks in the regular season, come tournament time, that Kentucky switch turns on, totally different team, and they always rise to the occasion.
They come ready.
Yeah.
Yeah, that postseason experience is so critical right now. Can we handle the big moment? We hadn't really had that much postseason accolades. Well, here two years ago we did, but it hadn't been commonplace. But we're returning to that. Does this team rise to that moment, or do they get a little anxious or nervous under the spotlight?
I think when the big lights come on, it's gonna be Quinley, man. Just watch what I tell you. He's gonna turn up another notch. It's gonna be tournament Quinley. Watch now. And Sears isn't a rookie. Sears comes from the MAC. But we have veteran guards. That's why I think you saw less of Bradley, because Nate Oats knew how big the Arkansas game was, so he went with his veteran guards.
And I think, to your point, Chris, one thing I love about Coach Nate's and the style, he's a great tournament type of coach. He talks about his in-game adjustments. He's going to play the hot players. If you're not defending, you're not going to play. You look at how he set up this season for us to be successful in the long run. You look at the beginning of the season. We're tournament battle tested. Like, we're in the tournament going against UConn, North Carolina. I think we were playing tougher opponents. We're probably the only team in the country that was going out there and playing these tough opponents, as opposed to some of these other top-tier programs in the SEC. So I think that's going to play off in the long run. We get the tournament time, we get some rest, we really get to evaluate, look at our opponents and make a good run going into the SEC tournament and March Madness. So I think the preparations at the beginning of the season, having that tough, first 12 games was really important for us to have the success. So I think they're going to be motivated, and I don't think Coach Oats is going to let them, fall into the rat poison, so to speak, or get complacent. He's always finding something to address right now. Let's go get this thing rolling.
Yeah, and we definitely have to get Bediako healthy.
Oh yeah,
His health is going to determine a lot of our success.
I agree, Dan.
Hey, Dan, I think you and I are on the same wavelength right there. I'd piggyback off what you said. I think Bediako is going to be one of those tournament guys. If he's healthy, he's going to show up. He's probably one of the most improved players on this team. Definitely from the physical standpoint, he's put some muscle on him, and by bringing that muscle, that toughness has been inserted into his game as well. I really look at his rise right now similar to Chuck Davis and that run to the Elite Eight some years ago. I really like what he can bring, and he didn't have to really score a lot. Now, if he can score and really cause some damage down low, that's great. But he doesn't have to. I like what he can bring to the table in terms of playing defense. He can shut down anybody you put in his path. I loved watching him earlier this year against Kentucky. Absolutely, just work of art, clinic. Yes, Chris.
I agree.
Yeah, he more so reminds me because Chuck kind of put us on his back. Him and Ken. He kind of reminds me of Jamario Davison. You remember how he rose the starter and all that time?
Yes.
He gave you 6 points, 8, whatever you needed, but he was going to play defense. He was going to rebound, and he was just going to do what he. Mario put on a phenomenal SEC tournament and tournament. You remember that year? He was down the stretch. He played great, and that's what Bediako reminds me of. Chuck reminds me of where Clowney could be.
Yeah.
Clowney could get to that Chuck Davis level, win a national championship. I'm sticking with it. If Clowney gets to that Chuck Davis level, we will win a national championship.
I'm with you. You heard it here first, people. Chris James.
Are you speaking on behalf of Chris James or Elroy James? Which personality's coming out?
Elroy done for the year, man. We done getting L's. I sent that joker packing, man. I sent him on a fishing trip to China. He's on that boat, that ship.
But yeah, tomorrow night, big deal. Looking forward to it. What a way to close out the title, beating Auburn. Like you said, guys, we got a lot of pissed off inside us, right, from last year. That image is still just burned in my memory of the crane kick and them acting a fool. And man, time for some get back. Before we move on to our next topic, let's go around. Let's get some scores. How do you feel it's going to play out tomorrow night? Matt, I'll start with you.
You know, I don't know if it's going to be one of those blowout wins. I can see the potential of the game being close just because, you know, you do have that rivalry factor. Auburn, Bruce Pearl, a lot of familiarity with each other. But I think the guys are going to be motivated. I can see them winning by a good, 15, 13, 12. But I don't think it'll be that close. I think maybe like a 86, 63, 70, something type game for Alabama to win. I think you look at a Brandon Miller, he probably have about 20-plus game. A lot of guys stepping up. So that's my prediction. What is yours, Chris James?
I'm going with Bama. I think I'm going Bama 88 to 69. 19-point Bama win. We hold them below 70.
Okay.
88-69.
That lady's final whistle Dan. OnlyFans Dan.
Look, I'm going Scores Earth, man. Y'all guys are way too nice, man. You know what I'm saying? I'm going Scores Earth.
Scores Earth.
95, Auburn 70.
Ooh.
That's close enough.
That makes a lot of sense.
Yeah. There's no reason for us to come out not motivated, man. It's not going to be close from start to finish. Yeah, we're going to roll them.
What about you, Justin?
Hey, I'm going to go Alabama 95, Auburn 70. This is last game, final home game of the season. Brandon Miller is going to hit a 35 piece, and then Nick Pringle is going to have 25.
Let me change that then. Let me change it.
Go ahead.
Alabama 103, Auburn 69.
Hey, deal.
With your boy hitting the three off the bench to make the crowd just go crazy.
Cottrell.
Oh, yes. Cottrell? Yeah, Cottrell. Hey, hey, let's go ahead and say Cottrell is going to score 10.
Oh,
I love it.
With a jam at the end.
Give him 6 back-to-back threes. He's going to hit us, give us 100. Then he's going to come back down and hit us another.
It's a lob.
No, Cottrell's going to get a jam, and the whole place is going to just explode.
Delaney Hurd.
You want to change my pick?
Hey, Quinley's going to do it. Little Quinley's going to do his little thing. Little Quinley.
I can't say his name.
Little Quinley.
You make it sound like he's Muggsy Bogues.
He's hilarious, man. You see him try to put the ball on the string like his brother.
Man, hey, good stuff. Anybody else want to change their picks? Are we locked
I'm
in?
changing mine. Bama,
okay, Matt, go ahead.
Bama 110, Auburn.
Say it with your chest.
57.
I like how.
Hey, y'all, give us your scores.
Give us your scores in the comments.
LB 87-70, Jay the Goat 85-60. Okay,
I like that.
Okay.
I'm saying 25 at least.
Yeah, I was being generous because Nate's gonna get him out the game, trying to keep him fresh. Yeah.
Whoever makes the most accurate score in the live chat will get a discount on Final Whistle Dan's OnlyFans.
Right now is going
promo
$3.99. Yeah. You'll get 75% off. $3.99.
If my profile pic doesn't have me with an apple in my mouth, it's not real.
Oh man,
That's what I am at.
A little apple juice dripping down.
I just got the theme of my next nightmare.
Yes, I like it.
Yes, the theme of my next nightmare is now locked in. Mark Jackson, 103.62. Todd Colburn, 98.68. I like how the chat's getting the vibe. I like how y'all's confidence level just kind of rose when I decided to lay out the score.
Hey, what up, Greg? Bosworth, that's my boy, personal partner. What's up, bro?
Yeah, he's got Bama 90, Slauburn 75.
Bama, what's up, man?
I love that.
Welcome in, everybody. Hey, y'all are the real stars of the show. The folks in the live chat. We do it for you guys. All right, now it's time to switch gears.
Football.
Time for football. Listen.
All right.
I've been waiting to hear your thoughts on the recent hire. Listen, Austin Armstrong barely finished his plate of wings over there at Bumhauer's, and he was out the door, headed to Gainesville. Fans are sitting there thinking, okay, what just happened and what is Nick Saban going to do? Well, we didn't have to wait too long because Robert Bala from Liberty has entered the picture to take over the reins.
I know what happened. With that. See, he watched Saban get on the ha-ha. He said, man, I'm out of here.
I'm out of here. He chewed out ha-ha.
Right. It's like that. I'm out of here, man.
Yeah. You saw how Saban was working, man.
I can't.
Saban was a relentless worker, man. He said, man, these guys, man, let me get up out of here. I don't know what I'm got.
And I think that was the bad move by him too. Not to jump your thunder, Justin. I just think if I had the choice to be coached by the GOAT and learned under him and kind of, have my own little niche with Alabama football, build my resume, build my connection, have the Coach Saban brand on my resume, have the national championship. I mean, that's priceless. But to go to Florida, Napier, to me, I know he's taking the promotion, but I thought it was a bit premature.
I agree with that.
From him, only 8 days. I get it. I understand him, looking at it as an opportunity to have a promotion. But for me, I'm staying with the GOAT.
8 days.
Well,
what were you gonna say?
It's all 8 days.
Yeah,
8 days. Yeah.
8 days.
Yeah.
Man, he saw that work ethic, man. He saw
it. It was something like, man, I'm out.
Hey, man, hey, let me see how funny, man. That's how it was when my first day at UPS. I was like, man, what did I get myself into?
10 o'clock at night, you get home like, man, I can't keep doing this.
My first week at UPS, man, that's what he got. I've been there before, man. We all been there. No shame in the game.
Him seeing Ha getting chewed out, he probably was like,
yeah.
Oh, he did this to an All-American NFL Pro Bowler.
Absolutely. But yeah.
But see, Ha is used to it though, so he didn't. He got it all throughout college. So Ha, like, man, they just coach. Like your mom, like you got a mom that yells at you all the time. That's just mom. Okay, yes, ma'am. Why somebody else would be like.
Yeah, I agree, Matt. Definitely a little premature. I understand wanting to elevate and wanting to take an opportunity. Yes, he will be on the field. He will be making calls. He is the co-defensive coordinator. But sometimes you just kind of have to pump the brakes in favor of learning, growing, absorbing incredible knowledge from Nick Saban. There's a lot to be said there. And if you have that resume built up with Coach Saban, maybe 3 years down the road, it wouldn't take long. You're ready to take on something a lot greater than where you are right now, and the success will be even greater. I don't think that he's ready, but if that's where his mind is right now, then he probably did us a favor.
Yeah, I think so too. And then to your point, doing us a favor, I go back to we played Southern Miss last year? I think we put up 63 points or something like that on them. So yeah, I mean, it is what it is. But I think you look at a Robert Bala, somebody in the comments says, who's Bala coming from Liberty? I think it was a smart move by Saban. He knows he got somebody kind of the inside track on Hugh Freeze, knowing how the ins and outs on Hugh Freeze's offense. And I think he's a young, up and rising coach. So I know one thing Liberty did do, I got it written down, crazy stat. They led Liberty ranked number 1 in tackles for loss per game under,
and top 5 in sacks per game.
What were we going to say?
Safety that he coached, because he coached the safeties. Even though he was an analyst, he worked with the safeties, and he had a safety that performed really well, got a lot of accolades.
Yeah, I think they were top as far as takeaways as well. And
we could have used them this year.
Yeah, well, and I think that's one of the things that kind of tugged at Nick Saban. We haven't really been that ball hawking defense, and we definitely have not had the non-offensive touchdowns that we grew accustomed to back in 2016.
That was Minka, man. He spoiled. Come on.
Well, Minka, Tim Williams, Jonathan Allen,
but still,
pick your poison. But Nick Saban is trying to shift back to the old and making it new again. And this is a part of that whole process where you get a guy who resembled similar to what we used to do, bring it back into the fold. And yeah, I get it, Alabama fans. I'm a little iffy on it because, like IMAX 3D said, who is Bala? Yes, he did coach at Liberty, but if you look even further down his resume, doesn't really have that big college experience. Southern Utah, a lot of small schools, was an analyst with the Las Vegas Raiders. So I don't really have that confidence level because of that. And I was a little bit frustrated because I see a guy like Nico Johnson, who is over at Texas right now as an analyst, national championship winner, three-time national champion, played the position, excelled at the position, played the position in the NFL, was successful at NFL level, still culturally relevant in terms of Alabama, still young enough for the players to know who he is. And everybody harps on the young part. he can connect with these guys. He still kind of understands what it takes to get through to them. So I was kind of a little mystified because he wouldn't seemingly consider for this. But I guess you could also argue Sean Deion Hamilton fits that mold as well. Why wasn't a phone call made to either one of them? Guys, can you think of a reason why we passed on those two promising former players as coaches?
Well, I'll go first. Well, first off, Bala, man, that's a steal. Because first off, you're getting somebody that knows Hugh Freeze. First off, somebody that knows Hugh Freeze, that's been under him for a year, that knows him every day in practice when they go team 11 on 11, good on good. So Saban's not gonna get caught off guard again by Freeze. Number one. Yeah. Number two, Bala, man, like he has coordinator experience. Southern Utah is FCS, but they're still Division I football. You know what I'm saying? Good football players coming out from the FCS. It's not like he's coaching junior high. He's the FCS Division I coordinator. He has that experience. Also, he's coached corners, he's coached safeties, and he's coached linebackers. So that way, Coach Saban has the ability to place him if he needs him at coach the safeties, if he needs him to coach the linebackers, or if he needs him to coach what you have somebody now, a chess piece that you can move around. Because it's not too many guys that you've ever seen that's coached corners, safeties, and linebackers. Who are the other two guys that you know?
Pruitt.
Pruitt.
You put that on him.
Kirby.
But I'm saying that seems like the type of guy Coach Saban is going after. He's going after because Armstrong was strictly linebackers.
Yeah.
Now you got a guy that actually, because man, if you can coach a certain position, like if you can coach linebackers, you can coach safety, you can coach corners, then it's easier for you to understand defense and how the back end works, how coverages mixes well with blitz and stunts and schemes.
Yeah.
You get what I'm saying? Because we've seen coordinators like I've seen defensive line coaches that were coordinators, but they didn't have a clue on how the back end worked. Like he didn't know how to put together a coverage to match with the stunt he was trying to run.
Yeah.
Now, Bala having front seven experience and back seven experience, he can put it all together. He gets it. You get what I'm saying?
He has an edge over a Pete Gold.
Y'all defensive coordinator.
yeah, that's what I'm saying. So he actually can help. You know, he can learn from Steele. You know what I'm saying? He may be the next great thing. You know what I'm saying? But if Saban sees that, he's like, okay, I got a guy that's coached this at this level. He's coached linebackers. He's coached corners. He's coached safeties. And man, it's not too many guys that have done that. And the guys that tend to be more successful than not. Mel Tucker.
Yeah.
You know, guys as coordinator, safety.
Yeah.
So
I do get the appeal in being versatile in terms of being able to coach more than one position group. That's where Pete Golding fell flat. He was more of a secondary guy rather than a linebacker guy, but he was a hell of a used car salesman in the interview, which, again, this is where Robert Bala won over Coach Saban. He did a hell of a job in the interview process. But I get what you're saying as far as knowing how the intricacies of a Hugh Freeze offense works, but that's one coach. What about the rest of the teams we're playing?
But he's not coordinating.
I look at Sean Deion Hamilton. I look at Nico Johnson, guys that played the game, but also more importantly, know what Coach Saban wants, how he has it laid out. There's no learning curve. He didn't have to sit time babysitting them. They come in from the jump and they know how to lead these guys. Whereas you got this young kid who, for lack of a better term, is going to be babysat possibly by Kevin Steele and have to take extra time to learn how everything works.
I don't think it's going to be that, because
I don't think it's going to be that.
I don't think so. And the reason why I say that, the reason I say that is because I think that with him, see, Steele's going to be, you can leave, like, because we don't have a safeties coach. Y'all got to understand that. We don't have a safeties coach. This guy just had an all coverage, all big time type safety. So if Saban wants to do this in practice, even if they do it in practice, it Steele's like, okay, I got the linebackers. He can go coach the safeties while T-Rob is coaching the corners. This guy can move around, even though he's labeled as a linebacker coach, but he actually can be moved around because it was a hole there. We had two linebackers. We had a defensive coordinator and we had our coordinators that always coached the linebackers. So now we have a linebackers coach, and so you remember we were trying to figure out why was Armstrong hired? Like, why are we bringing a linebacker guy when we just had Kelly leave?
Yeah,
A linebacker guy that's not going to coordinate. So now it's like, okay, now I bet you hear somewhere where these coaches are more flexible. Where this guy is not only coaching linebackers, he probably will be coaching safeties too. So it wouldn't surprise me one bit.
not to interrupt your session with Tinder there, Dan, but what are your thoughts?
Yeah.
I feel like I'm kind of the minority here in my train of thinking. Do you share the same thoughts as these guys, or are you going to be Team Justin here? No pressure.
No, I actually like the hire. Young, energetic. He has connections that we had. No one touched on, but he has connections to the West Coast. It's going to help us recruit guys. And like Chris said, the versatility is going to play a big part. I mean, it's not. We had Golden coaching linebacker the last few years. You know what I'm saying? We got nothing from that. So anything is an upgrade, really. So yeah, I'm cautiously optimistic of the hire. We'll see.
Me too. And at the end of the day, for me, at the end of the day, I trust Saban. Having been under him, I trust him, to make the best decision, and I think he's looking for a fit. I think Sean, to your point, Justin, Deion Hamilton would have been a great fit, but he's in the league. Maybe he did reach out. Maybe he didn't, want to come out or come to the college game. But you do look at a Nico Johnson, has he, he's got the past experience, but maybe saving for waiting on him to kind of get more experience under his belt. You never know what it might be, but I do understand your point, Justin, the whole skepticism and all that good stuff. But me, I've heard I kind of did some digging. I think he's a really good teacher. I think he's going to have our linebackers prepared. Coach Steele, I think we got coaches that can make adjustments and be prepared, and he's got motivators. For him to coach linebackers, I think he's going to be better suited than what Pete Golden, as far as having drills, setting the tone, being aggressive, having those linebackers ready to fire on all cylinders. And I think with his experience, I think he adds a lot of innovativeness to our defense. We can maybe come up with a lot more creative blitzes. I think it's going to be like a think tank. I don't think it's just going to be Steele. I think it's going to be Coach Saban, Steele, Bala you can throw in there, and I think it's going to be Jeremy Pruitt when the whole legal stuff files in. So I think it's going to be like a three-headed monster by committee, kind of what you kind of see at Georgia with, Glenn Schumann, Kirby, and Muschamp. So I think Saban's kind of having it that way, and I think, once we get, Pruitt on staff and all that stuff, it'll all work out. And I think it'll be a good fit for us in recruiting and helping develop young linebackers. You look at a Deontay Lawson, you having somebody there that really invests and really put, he getting all the talent in the world. You look at Lawson, you look at Blackshear, you look at Jihad Campbell. I mean, he's probably coming from Liberty to here. He's like, oh my gosh, I got a Ferrari, a Maserati, Porsche, a Lambo, a Bentley to play with, to put in the defense. I mean, he's probably licking at the chops. So, I do think it's good that we're getting him now, going into spring training, having his drills ready. I think it's going to be, good for the defense moving forward. So, that's just my 2 cents. At the end of the day, I just trust Saban. Once I saw Saban doing the wave on Saturday, I was like, oh, that's all the news I need to know.
Okay, to piggyback off that as we close this section out.
Well,
guys,
you got to tell us why you would. We're not going to let you off the hook. You got to tell us, how you feel about the hire.
I am still kind of in the middle, to be honest with you. I guess that
what's wrong with that? That's what we do. That's what we do at the final whistle.
That's right.
I guess that spoiled Bama fan in me, the unsatisfied Bama fan in me, is tugging at, I guess, maybe logic in some way. But I was wanting a more sexy hire. Like I said, I was very pro Sean Dion. I was very pro Nico. And I really felt like, yes, I know the Ha Clinton Dix is back, but I felt like we really needed to inject some more Bama back into it as far as an on the field role. But he may turn out to be absolutely phenomenal. So I'm more of a wait and see kind of guy.
Well, one more thing to that though, but and it may prelude that everybody knows that JP's coming back.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So it's hard to sell some guys on it.
But the biggest thing is what we need to really understand here, anybody who's getting bent out of shape, is he's a linebackers coach. This isn't the defensive coordinator position.
Right.
Yeah.
So this isn't quite as critical, but I just want a little bit more, sexy.
You want that wow factor.
But you still have him under steel.
Yeah, I agree with that. In very capable hands. Then you insert Jeremy Pruitt. You got two alpha dogs under his, mining the shop. Great opportunity for him. And like you said, the cars in the garage that he'll have to play with is going to be beyond his comprehension. And so that leads me to my last question as we close up this topic here. Who do you feel like in that linebacker room, not named Deontay Lawson, is going to benefit the most? Final whistle, Dan. I'll start with you.
One that fires off my head. I mean,
is your name Final Whistle, Dan?
Oh, sorry, my bad.
Wow,
like you said,
man.
Hey, you saw I shut up.
Which is a rarity.
Said OnlyFans Matt. My bad.
That's a tough one. Who I think would benefit the most? I have to say a younger guy, because I don't know. My first was going to be trading to Marshall, but
okay,
I'm going to say a younger guy. I'm going to say Sean Murphy.
That's a good pick. I like him.
Sean Murphy, Jahad Campbell.
I'm going to cheat.
You going to cheat?
I'm going to cheat.
Well, let me go first. No, you go first, Chris.
No, you go, Matt.
No, you go.
The JUCO guy, Justin Jefferson. Now he's this guy's Reuben Foster, man, all over again, man. People going to
put some weight on.
They're going to find out. And Jahad Campbell. Those two guys, man. Campbell's people. I don't think the college football world really understands what's about to occur on the defensive side of the ball. I don't think they could fathom if they knew these players, Jeremiah Alexander, on the edge. I really don't think they fathom what's really. You insert Caleb Downs, instant impact. I don't think they really fathom what's about to happen under Kevin Steele and defensive side of the ball, man.
That's what I'm saying. You get.
My God.
You looking at. You're dealing with coaches that know what they're doing, that teaching, they're going to have these guys prepared, and they're going to look at what they have in the defense and be like, what? We get to put all this talent together and stop an offense? I mean, I think, you mentioned Jahad Campbell. That was the first one I was going to say. But I'm going to say a young guy. I'm going to go with the Quay Russaw, the linebacker out of Montgomery. This guy can play inside, out, jack, whatever you need him to play. And I think when Bala and Pruitt gets there and Coach Saban and Steele, they see all these weapons. Hey, we could do this package, confuse the offense, have this type of package, have him going. I think it's going to be that defense is going to be back to being so dominant that people are going to be like, listen.
Yeah.
It's going to be so crazy. So, Chris, what were we going to say? Sorry.
Linebacker room, man. Look, Lawson, Jefferson, Campbell, Murphy, Blackshire, Russaw, Dallas Turner, Alexander,
Jeremiah,
Colt,
Pierre,
Pierre. Keely. Cordarius Robinson.
That's ugly.
My God, man.
Ooh.
If you can't find $4 out of that, man. But that's why he brought Kevin Steele back.
But I don't want to see that cheetah package again.
No, you're going to see the Steele package. They're going to rename it.
In the country that has a linebacker core close to not even Georgia. Close to that. Georgia has a good one, but not to that level.
And you didn't even mention Mitchell. Did you mention Marshall, the linebacker?
Oh, and Trevor Marshall that we just got from Georgia. That's 13, man. I just named
the cheetah package.
Terry Arnold be a corner and safety. Man, I always said Terry Arnold should have been at safety from day one. Dan to tell you.
I think he should be a safety.
I've been saying that from day one. He'll be an Eddie Jackson type.
Eddie Jackson, yeah, that's what I was gonna say.
I think he took his lumps at corner. I think he'll turn out to be a nice corner for us.
You know how Eddie was. Eddie started as a corner, but he was so dynamic that we had some other good corners. We could move him at safety. If a corner went down, we put him at corner. So I think he's going to be, if it was up to me, he would be interchangeable like that. That's why I say I give him the Eddie Jackson comparison, in my opinion.
Thomas Porter thinks the linebacker room should be called the steel cage. Yeah, hey, the cheetah package is expired. I like to refer to the new package as the hurt business. But my guy who can benefit the most is going to be Kendrick Blackshire, as long as he can stay healthy. If he can stay healthy, he's going to be Reuben Foster 2.0. This guy is ready to unload, and he is a prototypical Kevin Steele linebacker. Please stay healthy.
Yeah.
All right, guys, we, believe it or not, are at the end of the show. Before we close on out, I remind everybody, please hit the like button if you are right now in the live chat. Hit subscribe. Turn on the notification bell if you're watching the replay and you've made it past Dan's problems with technology. Thank you. But leave something in the comments section. But I'm going to give the baton over to each of you to promote what you got going on outside of here, as well as telling folks how to find you on social media. I will start with the illustrious Matt Caddell, OnlyFans, Going Deep 11.
Going Deep 11 OnlyFans. Hit the promo code 11. Nah, I'm just playing.
Promo code. Well, it's just 35% off.
Extra 35% off. But no, hit me up, Football University on Monday night. Listen, we waiting to get. I know Chris is so tired. We're trying to get him for the unofficial GM. I just can't wait to get Chris's thoughts. I mean, you're dealing with two guys that should be GMs, right?
Yeah. So, go ahead, sign us up. Call me, get me on the phone.
Yeah. So
get me and Matt in there, man.
I mean, we got Football University on Monday. Good show, but we're gonna have Chris on there. So, at the end of the day, it's enjoy the final whistle, man. Tune in next Tuesday. Bring somebody. We got special guests coming up, so you're gonna want to stay tuned
next week. Stay tuned.
Chris and I, Justin and Dan. So. That's it for me. Chris, what you got?
Well, you can find me on Facebook, Chris K. James Sr., on Twitter at Coach Chris James, on Instagram, which I don't use hardly. I just read messages and laugh at folks. R32.
Yeah.
And then on OnlyFans, going on. Throw deep 11.
Hey, what's your promo code?
My promo code is HUT.
All right, Dan.
HIKE hike.
Hike.
You can find me on LinkedIn, Dan James. You find me on Twitter. You see it, the handle there, Final Whistle Dan. Catch me here every week, every Tuesday night, 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Final Whistle, same bat channel, same bat time.
All right.
Damn, since you're our lead recruiting analyst, I heard we got a big recruiting weekend this weekend. I heard it's visitors. What are some of the things you're hearing, if there is anything, or just
Well, this one is very critical as far as setting our recruiting board. This junior day, this is where we start to come up with the names. Okay, who we're gonna push for. The spring and summer evaluations are very big for us. Saban and staff. So it helps us determine who we're gonna pursue. So getting these guys in this time of year is huge.
Can I say we had some kids perform at that Under Armour.
Oh yes.
Golly, and Alabama was the biggest buzz there.
Yes. It was the Alabama kids went to Atlanta and took over.
Golly, the Bama
he was cold, man. That boy's gonna be a top 3 player in the class, top 5.
He's so good, man.
They don't understand what Bama has in the pipe. They think it's over with, man. They don't have a clue. Perry Thompson out of Mobile, the next Julio Jones,
the DB Jalen Milwaukee from Clay.
When I tell y'all that Bama, what they have coming in state, like down this pipeline and recruiting, man, this team won't be heard for telling for years.
Yes.
And I'm looking at the point, just to pause here. I know we're talking recruiting. I'm like, what do we do at quarterback? You got KJ Lacey, who's like Bryce Young, almost esque. Julian Lewis. You got some other guys that are
Juju Cole, man.
What is it? Air Mundell or Air something?
Air Nolan.
Yeah. It's interesting. So we'll be talking more about this on the next episode of Final Whistle. Is what we're doing.
Absolutely. Remember that name?
Yeah.
What'd you say, Chris?
Julian Saying.
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh, he's nice. Oh, he is ridiculous.
And he was a Reese recruit right there. So
yeah, he loved Reese.
Yeah.
Great fit there. Hey, program notes. Listen, stay tuned to this show because as I mentioned before, I was talking to some guys before we jumped on air. Rod Grizzard, Erwin Dudley are going to be joining us pretty soon for an episode of Talk Bama Hoops. We're going to get some legends on here to get us ready for March Madness. So be on the lookout for that.
We're still working on Coach Saban.
Still working on Coach Saban, yes, for sure.
Yeah, man. Last time, man, I got escorted. Like at least this time, I didn't fall on my. They didn't throw me out on my head. This time, was just my butt.
Tomorrow night, right here at 8 p.m. Central, we had to wait until the basketball game is over. Bo Scarborough's developmental focus points with Bo Scarborough, Blake Sims, Christian Jones, and Trent Richardson will be on air. And we're going a little bit of a different direction. Tomorrow night, we're going to have Blake Sims' mom on. Why do you ask?
Wow.
We're going to get the perspective from the parents' side as far as what it's like dealing with a Division I athlete and quite possibly Jace McClellan's mother at some point. So that should be interesting. No one's ever really gone that route before. We're going to explore that avenue. If you missed the Bama Standard tonight, please go watch the replay on Touchdown Alabama Magazine's YouTube channel. We had the legendary, possibly greatest of all time running back, Bobby Humphrey on.
Oh,
tremendous show. Please go back and watch that. Show us some love there. And then Sunday night, for me and Coach Smook, we'll be back on 8 p.m. Central for the Bama Standard postseason show, wrapping up a week and what we learned about the Crimson Tide, as well as some breakdowns and analysis of what to expect next. And I'm sure it will also involve basketball, but I feel like we already got the market cornered in terms of basketball here on this show. So, but as the guys mentioned, we got a big guest coming on next week here, a guy that played under Kevin Steele his first year at Alabama. So he's going to give us a lot of insight as to what to expect and what's going to really get Tide fans excited. But yeah, that's all we got for y'all tonight. Thank you again. And as you exit, 2 things for these guys who have social media, go find them, link up to them, check out Matt's show, show some love there, and make sure you comment in the section, the live comment section, that is, that the Final Whistle is your favorite show.
Do
it. But yeah, that'll do it for all of us. Good night. Roll Tide, guys.
Roll Tide.